tomorrow you're going to go to a land called Yefa Ojimu. It's 300 acres of land there. And this is land that was given by the Akwamu people to the Africans in the diaspora. And this is what happened. And the Akwamu will tell you this part of the story. There was a time when the Akwamu was fighting over chieftaincy. That is, who gon' be the chief on the Akwamu stool. So at that time, the discrepancy led to a fight. And the ones that lost, it was 400 people on the clan that lost. And so they gave them to the white people to get them away from Africa, just so they didn't have to kill them. Now, in 1994, when the movement back to Africa by Africans in the U.S. started, it started through the Nation of Islam calling for a Savior's Day meeting here. And the Hebrew Israelites and a number of other ones met here. And at that meeting, the Finhaka idea was born. So Finhaka means those who left home without saying goodbye. And so there was a stool created, a stool and a skin. In Africa, the embodiment of the people is in the stool. The spirit of the people is in the stool. So the stool has a sacred denotation that's different from a stool in the U.S., where a stool in the U.S. is something for a child. So this land that y'all gonna go to see, the Akwamu, out of paying reparation or retribution, repairing what they did, they set aside 32,000 acres of land to give to for their 400 that they know they did. So it was given to a brother who acted as the chief, Gerald Simmons, out of Detroit. He was given the land as a custodian of the stool. And he was supposed to give the land to people who wanted to come back here free. And instead of him doing it free, they brought the money in it. And then he started charging people. And it just went, he started selling the same land 2 and 3 times, because he set some rules that if you don't build your house within I think it was a year, then it reverts back to him, and then he sell it again. So that caused a lot of problems. It caused the problems when the people from the U.S. started complaining about, you come back to build and now he done gave the land to somebody else. They started going to the Akwamu Palace complaining about Gerald Simmons. He changed his name to Quado Akpan. So when you hear about the Akpan, this is not their name. This, the Marjorie was her name was Marjorie Parker. I'm pretty sure it was Parker, who she made herself the Queen Mother. In other words, these people just fictitiously claimed positions because they was the only ones here at the time when the thing got installed, when the stool was made. And the ones of us coming from the U.S. don't know nothing about no chieftaincy, nothing. It's as much as about you taking a 15-year-old and ask him, what's a chief? You know, he ain't gonna tell you what the people here tell you what a chief is, but a chief here is like a small guy. he got the power. He controls the land. So that caused the problem. And since 1996, when the stool got the ceremony and it went through all the ceremonies, purification and stuff,
Yep.
it has been a constant problem. And Gerald Simmons took the stool as the custodian or the chief, and then he got poisoned around 2008 and died.
Yeah.
I said he got poisoned.
Yep.
What he did was he had he brought a wife from the U.S. or a common law wife.
Yep.
That is Modula, who y'all might meet when you go up there. Modula Akpan. It was he had Modula. He had another wife in the Akwamufia village, common law, or either he did it traditional, and he had another wife in Togo where he was stationed before he came to Ghana. And we heard he had another wife in Liberia. So there somehow became a clash between these wives and his reverence, respect, so that he put the one from the U.S. out.
First to go, right?
She was the first to go, and she went and took a house of one of the diasporans who had built his house. They confiscated the house. And then somehow he got poisoned and died.
Yeah.
And we haven't had another person on the stool since then. So the Finhaka stool now, we had the Ghana House of Chiefs take the stool and the skin back, and now it's with the Ghana House of Chiefs waiting for if somebody do decide, if a group of us decide that that's what's going to happen, then it's got to get installed. You know, it's got to go through the traditional system here. And sometimes chiefs, in fact, he ain't buried yet. Wait a minute.
How many years?
Let me bring that up. He ain't buried yet. And the reason he's not buried, so he died in 2008. So that would make it 9 years now.
Yep.
But now we might think for a body to be kept and not buried for 9 years, we might think it's weird, but
it's happening. You've been writing this down.
yes.
A chief died 15 years.
You can.
Yep.
You know, a chief in this town died 15 years. They just buried him last month.
Where do they keep him at?
They keep him in the morgue.
In the morgues.
Okay.
Now, the reason Gerald wasn't buried, there's in fact, it's the duty of the ascending chief or the next chief to bury the one that died.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And so, since we haven't installed anybody, there's nobody to bury him the traditional way. And then he did so many things against that, how you say, infuriated the Akamo people that they said he can't be buried on the land. So now that was two issues. Nobody to bury him, and he can't be buried on the land. So that problem continues on. So
So what's the difference between Finhaka and the land?
the name of the land is Yefa Ojimu, which means those who went through the fire. The name of the people is Finhaka. We are Finhaka people. Just like you have Airway, you have Ga, you have Ashanti,
Yeah.
you have all these other names. Our name here is Finhaka.
And that's basically a tribe.
It's a tribe.
Okay.
It's a group, an ethnic group of people. It's an ethnic designation
So it's a
given by the
diaspora.
National House
Yeah.
of Chiefs. We
So-
didn't come up with it. We didn't do it ourselves.
Gotcha. So it's for the diasporans.
Yes. But not just the diaspora, but the diasporans whose ancestors was taken away in slavery.
Yep.
Not the ones who was born here and moved into the diaspora.
Now.
Yeah, not them. So I said Finhaka. Finhaka means those who left home without saying goodbye. So they'll say when you say when the tree is Finhaka. Finhaka. So now you hear me.
Finhaka.
Yes.
Finhaka. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So
Without saying goodbye.
yes.
Yeah.
So that's our designation, but you know, from James Smalls to a number of them, they came here and I tried talking to them about it, but they can't seem to grasp what it means. Now, of the descendants who was taken out of Africa, who would fall up under the Finhaka title now, it's nearly 700 million of us.
Yep.
We in Brazil. We are in all of South America. We all over the world. So the chiefs that I met with when we were trying to instill, they said, when Finhaka meets, the whole world meets because we scattered to every continent. Some of us was taken to Australia. Some of us we was taken everywhere. So they said, and this was I was told from Nana Frapong. He said they was looking to Finhaka to come back and solve some of the problems that was in every family here. How is Finhaka gonna do things like even the land distribution? Where I would say it's gonna be equally shared.
Yep.
You know, that's one of the things that sharing the basis of unity is sharing something. If you have nothing to share, you have nothing to unite for. You can share a principle, and so you unite on that principle.
Yep.
You can share land, and so you unite on the land. But if you have nothing that you're going to share, you're not finna unite with nobody. And so, in order to strengthen Africa, I say that the land has to be shared with all the family members. Meaning, the young people going to get an equal share. He going to get as much as his great uncle and his uncle.
It makes sense.
That's the challenge. That's the challenge for the future generations. How to solve the land issue problem here. Because from men saying all the land belongs to the king.
Yep.
And then if you go back and check, you will find then when they started complaining that only Menace owns all the land, then he said, okay, well it was the priest who complained. So then he changed it and he gave so much land to the priests. Now it's the kings and the priests that got land. And so if you want some land, the king got to give it to you.
What about chiefs? What's the difference between a priest, a chief, and a king?
The chief is the head of the family. This is my understanding of what a chief is. When people first move into a land, an area, and they the first one there, and let's say it's the Opportunia family, then the family head is the chief. Now, once other people from outside the family move into the area, his title goes from chief to king.
Ah.
So he have the control over everybody. He's the first one to move there. Before you came, everybody now moved there.
Okay, yeah, that actually makes sense. Yeah. He was there first. He set everything up. Others start moving in. He's in charge.
Right, but the creator didn't do it that way. He didn't make it when that person got there. So when the creator made the land was made for everybody that was, and I'll say everybody equally.
Yep.
Because even before Menace, the land was his. So what gave Menace the right to come and say all the land was his when other people people was already living on the land.
Yep.
He didn't come. It ain't like now. Look, let's talk about the 22 tribe, 2,200 tribes in Africa. Now, take the Yoruba. Let's go to Nigeria, and Nigerians. All these 2,200 tribes got a different god. So here, tree is basically Akan, or the language of the Ashanti. And the Ashanti is saying they settled the land of Ghana. But you have to trace it when you trace Ghana back to the Ghana Empire. This is the new Ghana. The old Ghana Empire came before Kwame Nkrumah. Now it went when the white folks had it. It was called the Gold Coast.
Yeah, good coast.
Yep.
And
They
then
name it. They name it good.
the white folks named it the Gold Coast. But this is after the Ghana Empire had been destroyed by the Arabs and the Africans who didn't join. His name is Tutankhamun. He's a descendant of Menes. That when he set up the Ghana Empire, he was coming from the King Menes, who claimed title to all the land. So when this is what destroyed the Ghana Empire. The people who wouldn't join, who wouldn't honor him as the owner of the land, and they set up their own tribe. The tribes who were not part of, let's say, the governmental structure, the traditional empire structure, they teamed up with the Arabs from Morocco and other places, and then they defeated Menes' family. And after the Moroccans, after Arabs defeated, then the white folks came in and defeated them.
Yep.
And they named it
The
Gold
Gold
Coast.
Coast. Yep.
And then when Kwame Nkrumah came to be president, he renamed it Ghana. Okay, so there's a history, and it's good for people to know the history. Know the history. Even that book, the history of indigenous slavery in Ghana. Even that book, it tells a lot. Now, you know, in every family there are some things what they call dirty laundry. And the family members don't like the dirty laundry to be displayed in the public. But for the African people, our dirty laundry, it's got to be discussed at some place, sometime, somehow, some way, by somebody. It's got to be discussed, because if you don't discuss it, and we keep going around with wearing this dirty laundry, you see, it's going to affect us mentally, which is what is taking place. We're walking around with dirty laundry on, and it's affecting us. It's causing a mental virus to where we don't talk about the Tricosia. We don't talk about the 1100 superstitions created by the priests. The royal priesthood here is claiming royal on the lines that they come from a royal Menes family. And that entitles them to all this land and to be able to commit murder and have immunity to it. It's got to stop. It's got to stop. And you know, when I talk about it, you see, even if you go to the Facebook page and you look at the Facebook page, when I start talking about it, I'm trying to make people aware so that it can stop. First thing happened. Oh, Africans didn't enslave Africans, and no, the priests don't do this. You know, all of that. So I'm in a constant battle with the people that say it didn't happen. We didn't go to the Akamu and tell them to write their history of the 400 members of their family. We didn't do that. They did that on their own. They know what happened. So when y'all go to Akamufia tomorrow, go ask about the 400 members of their family that was sold and why they gave the land to the diaspora. Get it from them. Go to the palace and let him tell you themselves why they did it. And that should close the argument with the people that say the Africans didn't have no part in it. In fact, if you go to the history, in that book, The History of Indigenous Slavery in Ghana, you're going to find out that the enslavement of Africans to other Africans started when they started fighting over chieftaincy. So like, y'all get to fight. Now you killed off a man who had 5 kids of the tribe that was victorious. Now you finna be a slave, and you gon' what you earn gonna go toward taking care of them, the children of and the wives of the one that you killed.
Yep.
This is how it got started. So that even when the white folks came here, the white folks didn't come here for slaves, they came here for gold. It was called the Gold Coast. They came here. And the Ashantis that was selling the gold to the white folks, they didn't have enough people mining the gold, digging for the gold. So they started taking other people and forcing them to work to have enough gold to satisfy the white folks coming for the gold. And then when the Akamu tell their story, it was these same white folks who they gave them to. They didn't even pay. They didn't even take no money for them. They said, get them out of here.
Yeah.
Now, so that when you understand the fighting that's going on over chieftaincy today, put it in a proper perspective that there's this position that's in the family that is the position almost of God. So I call them small gods, because they have that position. And so the fight for that position causes a whole lot of alienation within the family from different tribes, from different people in the family. It causes, and it's still going on. Now, that's something that the young people got to, these are future tasks that I'm talking about that has to be solved by the young generation yet to be born even. How do you solve this so that everybody is equal? Everybody have a fair share of the land. I was speaking to, they had the Pan-African Conference here in 2016. And so at the conference, I met some of the kings. And so they came back and they visited me at my place, and I was discussing the issue that this land has to be shared equally with all family members. You can't leave out the women as property owners, as land owners. I'm saying, in order for you to have a strong family, that family has to share equally with all of its family members. So that if somebody come and threaten the land to take over the land, everybody see their stake in jeopardy, and they go to fight for that reason.
Yep. If you got skin in the game, yep.
If not, and you got only certain clans of the family is using the land, then why would the one who has no right to use the land go fight and put his life on the line for some land that he can't use?
Exactly.
You see?
Yep.
So
that's exactly the problem.
you can have a bus full of white folks come here and take over because it's like, hey,
I wasn't allowed to use it anyway. It's not mine.
let him get killed, and then maybe I'll be chief next. Even that mindset gonna come in the bearing.
Yep.
So until we solve these problems, then Africa won't have no strength because there's nothing that we're going to share. In fact, the only thing in Africa that can be shared equally is the land because you have different gods, and those people who have different gods actually see another tribe as a different people. They ain't sharing the language, so
Nope.
without sharing the language, it's hard for you to share principles. The only thing that can be shared equally is the land. And when I got here, I was asking the kings and chiefs who made the land that they claiming title to. I said, I want to meet the man who made the land. They said, oh, he didn't make the land. It was passed down. So I said, well, who made it? They said, oh. Then I said, we get to the point. It was our African creator that created the land. And so any fighting that's going on is over something that don't belong to us. It's land that belongs to the person that made it, not the first one on the land. It's whoever made it and whoever he gives it to. So he gave it to everybody. And it was so that the young ones have a way to feed the new ones that's coming into the life. So, on what? Tell Zip will feed you. Go tell him. Go tell him. Well, then you gotta wait till you get through talking. In any case, that's pretty much what happened about the Finhaka land, or Yefe Ojimu land, and the Finhaka stool. And I want to make it clear. It's the Finhaka stool and skin, and the land is called Yefe Ojimu, which you're going to see tomorrow.
Okay, yep.
And it's roughly 300 acres there.
Who's living on the land now? Anyone?
There's...
About how many?
Mensa is about how many?
Yeah.
Two.
Two people?
Yeah. Well, let's see. I heard Marjorie one of them just moved back, so let's say 4.
4 people. Yeah. How many acres
It's
is
less
that?
than 10. It's 300 acres there.
Jeez, for less than 10 people.
But ain't they not farming or nothing. That's just where their house at. It's just there. So
Yep.
the land is there, and then with us not doing anything with the land, the local people have started moving back onto the land and using it to grow their corn and rice and different things.
Yeah, I mean, we're not using it, which is a shame.
Yes.
But until we get all these issues settled, I don't know how.
And it's in the indenture to the land that until we start to using the land, they have a right to use the land. It's in the indenture.
That's smart, actually.
Yeah.
That's smart to do that.
So will the Africans from the diaspora ever come together enough to install somebody? I don't know. But I would say it's a task for the future generations. It's for the younger people who have a desire to come here. Because, I mean, listen, that's from one paramountcy. There's 10 paramountcies in Ghana. Each region have a paramount chief. And the paramount chiefs, because Africans was taken from all over Ghana and put in slavery in the U.S., every paramountcy will give land to the Finhaka stool.
So what process would they have to follow to even do that?
It's gotta have an administration. The chief is the administrator of the stool, or the custodian. Using their term, they say custodian. I'm gonna say the chief is the chair.
So we need a chief first before we can take advantage of the land.
Yes.
And he would be the keeper of the stool.
Yes, he would be the keeper of the stool and the skin.
Yep.
But I'll try to put it in Western terminology for us to understand. And I say there's a chair. What the Ghanaians and the people in Africa know as a chief, we're gonna call him a chair.
Yep.
And instead of it being a bloodline, you are owned by, passed down through heredity and of a bloodline. We doing ours by election.
Yep.
So we would elect somebody to be a chair for a number of years, and then we'll have another election. And all of the positions that a traditional stool has a number of different positions. They have like the Quotahini, they have the Aduntahini. The Aduntahini, it's like the human rights director of
Gotcha.
the company. You have like the security minister, and so they have a property manager. You know, I'm using these terms, property manager, but there is a corresponding name in tree that's a chief, but that's his job. He's keeping records of who's on the land, what's grown on the land, all that type of stuff.
Gotcha.
Okay, so we did that, and we never got a person to sit, we never installed it, but we did get a constitution adopted. And we got a constitution adopted in 2016 that says the Finhaka people will elect a chair and I think it's 16 other positions that is done by election. And so that much is done for the future generation, and we have to see what they're going to do with it. So that's the Finhaka story, as best as I can tell it, and there's proof. You're gonna go see it tomorrow.
Yep.
Go from there.
Yeah, we just need to get people over here to to become interested in this. But I guess once I see the rest of it, we can talk about that too.
Yeah. I don't know if you know Herschel Daniels.
The name sounds familiar.
Herschel Daniels is he has a group called Friends of the African Union, and Herschel was talking about veterans
Yep.
who have received their pension, coming here and using it, spending their pension here because the pension goes 4 times as far.
Yep.
Meaning the American dollar here is worth 4 Ghanaian dollars. So you take a person that's on a pension even over $1,000.
It's $4,000 here.
Yeah, a little over 4,000 in fact. But what you can do with 4,000 Ghana CDs here, I mean, let's see, with 1,000, let's say with 2,000, this is advice that I would give people that's coming here. Put together a budget that you're using in the U.S., meaning how much you're spending for rent or housing, how much you're spending for food, how much you're spending for entertainment, how much you spend for security, how much you spend for transportation.
Yep.
Take that budget and then look at those same items here in Ghana. That meaning housing, transportation, food, security, and entertainment. And I say for 2,000 Ghana CDs, it's gonna match your budget that you put in the U.S. or with those five items: housing, food, transportation, security, and entertainment.
So how much Do you know how much a house would cost nowadays to build in Ghana? Let's just say a 3-bedroom.
Okay, when you start talking about housing, the cheapest thing in Ghana is labor.
Yep.
So when we start talking about housing, let's talk about blocks, cement blocks,
Yep.
which most of the houses here is made with cement block. A cement block right now is going for about 3 CDs. 3 CDs is about 75 cents. So, no. It's not. Uh, $1 is equal to 4 CDs, maybe 30 pesos. And I'm saying a block now is about 3 CDs. So it's less than $1 a block. So when you do the math, based on what size house you're gonna build, you figure, just figure $1 a block.
Yep.
$1 a block, so that 40,000 blocks is equal to $40,000. But how much space is you talking? One block is 18 inches by 9 inches by 6 inches, length, width, and height. The length is 18 inches. The height is 9 inches, and the width or the thickness, some is 6 inches and some is 5 inches. And so, if you look at you gonna show the length of this house at some point,
Okay. and
then walk it off with your feet. If you say, if your foot is anywhere around 12 feet, and you can figure out a 40 feet house, because in the U.S. 40 feet, 30 feet is about the size of an average house in the U.S.
Yep.
30 to 40 feet in length and width. And then they're going, the height of the block is 9 inches. So if you're going to go up to 11 feet, you know, and most of our ceilings in the U.S. is 8-foot ceilings.
Yep.
8 to 9 foot ceilings. So that gives you an idea if you wanted to build a house, and the labor is cheaper than, it's the cheapest thing. So it's less than the block. We say if you paid somebody a block layer, he probably gonna lay, say, 100 blocks a day, and he probably gonna take 40 CDs, something like that. So to build one.
So that's $10 in
Yes.
American. Okay. Around $10,
That's
maybe
right.
a little less. Yep.
Yeah. So, you know.
Yeah, you definitely saving on labor, because
Yes.
you not get anybody work for $10 a day in the United States. You can forget that.
No.
Not even their family members.
So it's a big difference in labor.
Yep.
Big.
Yeah, that sounds good. I mean, that's definitely the way to go.
Okay, so if you wanna
And buying land, that's another thing. There's no set rules for buying the land, is there?
No.
I didn't think so.
No. I mean, like, actually the way that you approach the chief or the family determines kind of much how the price is going to be. Because there's no, like, where you use comparisons in the U.S. Now this is a big problem too, because if you American and you just come from America, first they're gonna catch that you're a foreigner, and they know that you making a whole lot of more money than what people making here. They know that.
Yep.
Okay. So if you get priced that way, the price, this is what's happening right now. let's take on the Kosovo Road, the road from Timor to Kosovo.
Yep.
There's an area called Shy Hills, and the person that was uh, connected with some people from the U.S. They were selling the land at 10,000 a lot, and a lot is 100 by 100, four lots to an acre.
Okay. So it was a quarter acre
Yes, a quarter of an acre, and
for 10,000.
right,
Okay.
and um, let me say, when I got the land that we paid, the land was 200 CDs an acre.
Wow.
So, and that's 200 CDs an acre per year, every year.
Okay.
Okay.
But still. Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah. So here was the problem it caused, because so many people now is coming from overseas, and they pricing it at what is priced in the U.S. that it's made it where the local Ghanaians can't afford land in Ghana. You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's only the elite who can sell the land. So the regular common folks, Ghanaian, can't afford the land at 10,000 a lot. But because of, if you use comparisons, they trying to get as much as they can. So when you first come, they asking a price that's so much higher than what the average Ghanaian can pay, because the amount of money what they making in a month is what people make in a day.
So you shouldn't approach somebody by yourself. You probably should take a Ghanaian with you.
You or somebody like myself who
That's been
know,
living here, yeah.
and I'm gonna tell you, no.
No.
If you even, this is what I tell people. I say, look at the land price in Mississippi,
Yep.
and don't let it cost more than. The reason I say Mississippi is because you got red dirt. The climate is pretty much the same. When you get down to the south, Louisiana, southern part of Mississippi, where you got all that red clay,
Yep. I've been there.
that's
Oh, yeah.
what's here. And so the climate is similar. So why, with all the amenities that they have in the U.S., the paved roads, the electric lines, when you buy land here, a lot of times you got to bring the roads. You got to make the roads yourself.
Yep.
You got to bring the electric in yourself. You got to bring the water in yourself.
Exactly.
So why would you pay more for land here than what the same comparable land in Mississippi would cost?
I was asking myself that same question when I went online and saw that the prices were the same prices that were in America.
Yes.
I was like, why is that? I was like, yeah, I'm not paying.
Those are the people. It's all about money. They don't care. They just about money.
Yeah, you'll see online a house for $200,000, and you're like, no way.
You see, this is what I truly believe. That if you know what happened, if you know the story, and you come back and you say, I am a person who was taken away, I'm descendant of a person that was taken away from Ghana, and my DNA says that I'm Fulani, like one of my friends. He did his DNA.
I just did mine before I came here. I haven't got my results back yet, but we'll find out.
Well, Paul was Fulani, so when he comes down, he goes back. He spends a good amount of time in the Fulani area.
Yep.
Now, if Paul was to go and say, hey, I want some land that should have been decreed for my ancestors, he gonna get a better deal than if a white man come here to buy some land. So until you connect back Africanism, I'm using the word,
yep.
Afrocentrically.
Yep.
Until you connect back Afrocentrically, you're going to get the Bruni price for everything. Everything.
And the Bruni means a white man?
Foreigner.
Foreigner. That means foreigner. Okay.
Yes. So even like when you gonna get a hotel, if you don't bring it through Afrocentricity, I'm gonna say that, you're gonna get the Bruni price.
Ah, it's definitely good to know.
Yes. When you catch a taxi, you're gonna get the Bruni price.
Yep.
When you go to the market, you're gonna get the Bruni price. So it's better to come through somebody who have been here, know the traditional system, know some of the families here, so you know who to go to. That's the double one, because look what happened. Under the chieftaincy structure, you have in a region you have a paramount chief, and then you're gonna have village chiefs, you're gonna have division chiefs, and you can have inside the family the Quoto Henny, the Adonta Henny, all these other ones. So now when you get ready to go to buy land and you go to a chief, he may be a chief, but he may not be the chief over that land, and you ain't gonna know it.
Nope.
All you gonna know is that you bought it from a chief, and all of them don't have. They not. Let me show you. They are traditional councils. This is the official structure of the Ghana government, where the traditional government and the orthodox government is paired together. So the National House of Chiefs has a position just like the Senate or the House of Representatives. You have the National House of Chiefs, and those are the landowners. So you can deal with a chief and not be one of those chiefs, and you can buy land and get it, and then you're gonna find out somebody gonna tell you, oh no, yeah, but I paid for it. Yeah, but you ain't paid from the right person.
What about lawyers and real estate agents over here? Do they help at all?
If you are Bruni and you coming to rent a house, you're gonna get the O'Bruni price.
Yep.
And the real estate agents,
Wanna
they gonna get paid 10%.
So they want you to get the higher price.
Yes.
But what about the paperwork then? Shouldn't you have a lawyer once you go to buy the land? I mean, after you hammer out a deal. There's,
You
I'm not sure how it works there. That's what I'm
see,
trying to figure out.
let me tell you what you have to do, and then you decide on if you want a lawyer to do it. Because you can choose a lawyer to draw up any paper you want. But you don't have to have a lawyer. You can draw it up yourself. You can get an architect to draw it up. The best thing to do is to have the land surveyed by an architect firm. Then, first of all, it's gonna be the most important thing is to find the landowner, meaning finding the right chief.
Yep.
And there's people in the family who will say they the family head. He can be a family head, but he ain't the chief. Let's put it in there. They have a term called a term, and it's Safet, Safachi. They got names what mean he is the one that's the landowner. But you'll find others that the other chiefs that say they the chief over the land. Yes, he is the chief over the land. But what position does he hold over the land? For instance, you can have the property what we'll say the property manager.
Yep.
He's a chief. But he's not the chief that can sell the land when the insignia goes on the indenture. It's not him.
Gotcha.
But he's the property manager chief. You see. So if you don't understand the structure, you can get took.
Yep.
I would say this, and I would say that any other diasporans that's here, there's two things that the diaspora community needs to do. They need to put together a welcoming committee for diasporans that's coming here to visit. And when I say that, I mean like they need a stool, a place at the airport. That when you come into the airport, the diaspora or the Finhaka welcoming lounge or whatever is there to welcome people so that you can get set straight soon as you get here.
Yep. It makes.
And don't get took on a Bruni tour. Okay. That needs to be done. And then there needs to be a committee or something set up that you go through that wants to buy land. So that if you do install somebody, let whoever is the chief of the Finhaka people go to the chief of that land, because he gonna know who it is.
Yep.
Just by the position that he has, and let that person go negotiate the land for you.
Yeah, that definitely makes perfect sense. But there's nothing like that set up right now.
It's not set up right now. So how long does it take for... Now here's something that's being discussed that I think is going to be perfect. Blockchain technology used for land ownership, so that you can know who is the true owner of the land.
Yep.
Because what happens when somebody dies, and then they get to fighting over who gonna be the succeeding chief or family head, and then who has the right to do or sell the land or whatever. Those things need to be discussed, and then for this reason, if you make land to where the average Ghanaian can't afford the land, you got a problem. Because if I'm one of the average Ghanaians here, and I see all these foreigners coming in taking up all the land, and I can't have none of the land for my family, we gonna have a fucking problem.
And I don't blame them.
See? So that's why I tell people, don't go and just go for. They said, oh, $10,000. Somebody here told you $10,000 for a lot. Go compare it with the land that's in similar climate.
Yep.
Compare it with that land in the U.S. that's got all the amenities. In fact, in the RTA group, if you go into the file section of RTA, it's there. There's a file that shows the land comparison in the U.S. that you can just pull up and compare it with the land here, and compare it all across the zone. Meaning, at this longitude,
Yep.
Ghana is 0. Ghana is the center of the earth. Both of them is here. 0, 0 is Ghana. And so when you follow that same longitude land back to the U.S., or even where Mississippi at, and you follow it back then, I'm saying comparable land should be the same. So then, if you look at like, okay, when you're going south and you're going closer to the Togo border,
Yep.
then you change in latitude. You're not at 0, 0. You might be at 1. That's 1 degrees, 59 seconds, 59 minutes, and 59 seconds. Then that land gonna be compared with that same longitude dimensions in the U.S. so that you know what to expect on the land. You can do, this land gonna be a lot of red clay. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Now, I'm trying to explain why you use comparison and land valuation. Don't come here and just say, I'm gonna pay this amount because this is what somebody told me it is for.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to pay New York prices for
And this is what I would do. This is what I would say. You try, because we got a problem to fix, find a young person in the family that you're gonna get the land from, and do some type of joint venture where that young person gets some land adjoining your land. Or you said, if you like, let's take Cliff, 460 acres. Cliff could have got every person in their family some land right beside him, and they would have helped maintain his fields or whatever for the land. But in solving this problem where young people can get land, pair up with somebody coming from the diaspora. They know the land. You tying up, you teaming up with somebody who already know the land, know the area, and all that, so they can get some land for the child that they gonna bear.
Yep.
See, so I think it can be a positive for both people. They got land. It's at a fair price. What they wouldn't give it to that person. If I'm saying clear, I'm gonna give you a more direct example. Say that the land that you're gonna go to look at in Akusi tomorrow, and you see some land that you want to buy. Now, if you wanted, let's say you was gonna buy 10 acres, I don't know.
Yep.
Instead of 10 acres, ask for 13 acres, and you do a joint thing, and then 3 of those acres belong to Zip.
So we would both go see the chief,
Yes,
and then we would explain to him 3 would be for him and 10 would be for me.
right.
Okay.
And he builds his house on those 3, and he's adjoining. He's next to you. Now you got somebody that you know to watch your land when you ain't there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I also saw online, someone said he was a chief. I don't know. He said he would give the land for free if you would just develop it and give the locals some jobs, give them some work.
Okay. He can say that, but we still want to verify who he is.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, that's what was supposed to happen. Listen, when the 300 acres was given, it wasn't that they paid for the land. The land was given out of making amends for something what had happened during enslavement.
Exactly.
So, what this person is probably a development chief, and so if you're gonna come back and you're gonna do something on the land, and then let's say you're gonna come back and you're gonna build a factory producing iron, smelting the iron ore, separating into iron and ore,
Yep.
and then adding the coal to make it steel.
Exactly.
Now you're going to employ so many people, so they give you the land, and you're going to employ people. That's a way too. So that's a possibility.
Yeah, I thought that was a good one. I mean, that's Pan-Africanism right there.
Okay, fine.
Yep.
Include somebody that's been here, somebody from the diaspora that knows their way, knows what's going on, verify things, all of this stuff, just to be part of your negotiation team.
Yep.
Yeah, and you ain't gonna be, and at no time are you gonna be negotiating with one person. If it is, something is wrong.
Yep.
You understand what I'm saying? You shouldn't be negotiating with one person. It should be a number, 4 or 5 people of the family that you're gonna be negotiating with. So when one person say, yeah, okay, I'll meet with y'all, and he by himself, don't do it.
Gotcha.
You hear what he's saying?
Yep. That's a no.
Never.
So, if you want to take a break, pause from here.
Okay.
Cool.
I guess I'll ask about I guess it's the presidents of Africa. How come, like for instance, when I was in Brazil, someone was a Mexican American. He was there, and he didn't have to bring a visa and anything, just for being from Latin descent.
Okay.
But you can't do that in Africa. I can't come from America, being African American, and going to an African country without a visa?
John Mahama signed, I think it's around May, I think May or June 2016, that John Mahama signed a waiver for visas for Africans on the continent, from the continent.
Yeah, only on the continent, but not from the diaspora.
But that was because no group from the diaspora went and said we should be included. So as it stands right now, Africans from other parts of Africa can come here without a visa. But
Yep.
the people from the diaspora ain't got themselves to group. What is the group that represent the people from the diaspora that can come and sit down with the president and make this that says he represents the people from the diaspora?
That's true.
That's what Finhaka was supposed to do. And if Finhaka installed somebody, that's what that person would do. They would make sure that when something is set as a privilege to Africans, because you're African, they would make sure that the Africans from the diaspora is included.
Gotcha.
Now, whenever a group of people come together, that's something that they can say, okay, this is the duties of the chair of the Finhaka people. Though we call him chair and we know him as chair, in the Ghana he'll be known as a chief.
And there's only a handful of African countries that you can become a citizen. From my understanding, Kenya is thinking about if you marry someone from Kenya, you can become a citizen.
And come without a visa.
Yep.
Now, in 2012, they had a conference in Durban, South Africa, and at that they agreed that to set up the 6th region of the African Union. So the 5 regions of the African Union is in Africa, the continent, and the people. Pat Hill, there was a number of people from Chicago that even went to that meeting. And they got secured that to include Africa from the diaspora under the 6th region. But it's not developed. And even that document, I think you should read the document so that everything that was, even coming here without a visa was mentioned in that, but it wasn't followed up. It was supposed to be in every country, it was supposed to be an office for the 6th region. But again, they never got together. Now, Herschel Walker, for instance, there was some talk that Marcus Garvey's son was supposed to be given the position of the chief of the 6th region. But he was selected by people from Africa that was in a union, and that's not the way it's done.
So it'd be from the diaspora.
The diasporans have to choose their own leadership.
Gotcha.
You can't come in. The Ashanti won't let the airway choose their leadership. The guy ain't gonna let the Fulani choose theirs. That's not the way it's done. When you represent a people, you chosen by that people to represent you. So it needs to be a plebiscite or a vote extended throughout the 6th region. I ain't got nothing against it being Garvey, but the process in which it was done is what I would say, hey, okay, even Garvey, even if you're going to take the position, then he has to, at his first sitting, he has to say, okay, we need to establish the procedures that's going to be followed for the next and succeeding positions of people who sit in this position, and needs to say that it's going to be done by election. And with the technology today, even with the blockchain, the way the votes go, it can secure the vote so that people ain't voting twice,
Yep.
and it ain't no fictitious people in the candidacies. All of this stuff can be done now because the technology to do it is here.
Yep. Exactly.
So I push the blockchain. I'm not pushing the Bitcoin.
No.
I'm pushing the blockchain.
The underlying technology. Yep.
Yes. There's a number of things that can solve the task for the future. What the future Africans, the generation of Africans have to deal with, they have the technology now to make it possible to do it.
That makes sense. All right, I guess we'll take a break here since we are still on topic.